It's really got Captain Jeremiah picture. It's funny.
You putting your face in the camera in this live?
Uh-uh.
Disappointed.
That hurt, don't it?
Yeah. I'm gonna eat a fudge bar after a while. So I'll be alright.
Messenger of Israel, Shalom King.
So
I'll go ahead and open up because sometimes we open up late. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah. Of course, like always, we're gonna start off with a couple precepts, a couple proverbs, couple scriptures of wisdom. This is Proverbs 25:2. It says, "It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter." The honor of kings is to search out a matter. So this is the Most High God's glory to conceal things. That's why you got things in the Bible like dark sayings and parables and stuff that can't be unlocked by a regular person or by a regular man. Just like it says in Acts, he said, how can I understand unless some man should teach me? How can I understand this book unless some man should guide me, or unless some man open it up unto me? Same thing with Christ. He had to unlock the scriptures for a lot of men and women during his last days on earth. See if I can find that. I think it's either Luke or Mark, so like in the end of Luke or the end of Mark. Okay, I think I see it. I think there you go. This is Luke chapter 24 in verse. I'm gonna start at 25. It says, "Then he said unto them, O fools, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory?" He says, "In beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures things concerning him. It's like it concerning himself." Then I want to jump down to verse 44. It says, "And he said unto them, These are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which are written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. Then he," so like it says, "then opened he their understanding, that they might understand the scriptures." You know, the scriptures are locked to a lot of men, women, and children. There's a lot of things that they um can't see, that they can't understand. The wisdom of, or the spirit of understanding was not given unto these people. So it's the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. And that's exactly what we do. We king, priest, uh we're a nation of kings and priests, just like the scripture says also in Sirach. uh it tells us that it's not an easy matter to search out a parable. It's actually laborious, it's taskful, it's stressful. It's the scriptures say we labor not for ourselves only, but for all those that seek learning. That's Sirach 33:17. That's actually going into labor to search out the things that the Most High God hath concealed, concerning wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But it's on you.
And one of the scriptures you quoted, I was holding. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that out real quick. It's Sirach 13 and 26. It says, a cheerful countenance is a token of a heart that is in prosperity. And the finding out of parables is a wearisome labor of the mind. So finding out parables, finding out the will of God, knowing what's really required of you. Everybody know, or everybody should know, that the Bible is perfect. The laws of God is perfect, to be more precise. And learning the laws of God is wearisome. It's laborious. It's like it's harder than the hardest test you have to take. Shalom, everybody in the chat. We got Officer Dahwam. We got Zion. Zion 12 forever. Shalom, shalom. Man, I'm gonna have to start pulling out this precept every time we come on live now, man. I'm gonna start pulling it out. It's a shame. It's Sirach 40, 41 and 21. Or 41 and 20. It says, you should be ashamed of silence before them that salute thee and to look upon the harlot. So it's actually a shame if a brother says shalom and salute you and you don't salute him back. It's actually a shame to do that. So when I say shalom, I'm not just saying that for y'all just to keep doing your thing. I'm saying shalom, greeting you, for you to drop something in the chat, say it back. That's in the Bible. But I got a proverb real quick, and we can jump into it. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 26. It says, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. That's kind of a big verse, and there's so much going on. So I'm gonna break it down. The wisest man that was on earth, he said, it's something bitter than death. He said it's the woman, but it's a certain kind of woman that's more bitter than death. And the kind of woman, he describes it. He said her mind, he said her heart, but we know that the heart represents someone's mind. Because we know that when someone like, hey, you broke my heart, you didn't actually break their heart. You just had them thinking one thing when there was another. So when the Bible says heart, 8 times out of 10, almost 9 times out of 10, it's talking about someone's mind. It says, whose mind is snares and nets. A snare is a trap. A net is also a trap. It's something that you would use to catch something, you know? So he said, a woman's mind who has snares and nets. Like a woman who wants to play mind games and set traps everywhere. He said, that's more bitter than that. A woman who want to play games all the time and, you know, she acting like she like you and that she love you, but really she just trying to get your money, or really she trying to do this. You know, Solomon said that's more bitter than death. He said, in our hands is bands. A band is something you use to actually trap something or contain something, almost like handcuffs. You can think of it as that. It says, whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her. So if you're doing the will of the Most High God, if you please God, this type of woman that likes to play mind games all the time, you're going to escape from her. And I heard somebody say this a long time ago, and it always stuck with me. If you escape something, that means you barely got away. You barely got away. So it says, if you please God, you're going to escape her. It says, but the sinner shall be taken by her. So if you don't please God, you're going to be taken by this woman. And this precept is so much in there because we know that the scriptures have more than one meaning. They manyfold. So this same physical woman, if you please God, you can escape from her, because we know women, they have ulterior motives. I'm not just picking on them, because sometimes men do that too. Men have ulterior motives of why they would talk to a woman. But he said, hey, it's more bitter than death when you have a woman who like to play games and have snares and traps and ulterior motives. But on a spiritual level, women in the Bible goes back to doctrine and philosophies. and religions. So if you please God, you're going to escape that. You're going to escape the lies, the doctrines, the philosophies, the religions, the Christianities, the Islams. If you please God, if you found favor in his sight, he's going to show you the truth. He's going to show you that real path, right? It's on you, King.
I ain't got no more Proverbs, but we can go into the lesson. All right. So everybody should know what our first captivity was. Everybody should know what our first captivity was. Our first captivity as a nation was Egypt. We should all know that. We're all Israelites. You can find that in Exodus chapter 1. We came in 70 souls and left a great multitude. Now, what happened as soon as we left Egypt? We left Egypt. We went into into the wilderness, and things started to happen. We started murmuring. We started worshiping the gods of Egypt again, and we started doing so on and so forth. So, can you grab me that you said you wanted the numbers? I believe before we pulled up. Shalom, Dorian.
Shalom, everybody in the chat. This is Numbers chapter 14, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron and the hosts." Like it says, how many pages did I turn to? It says, and all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, and the whole congregation said unto them, "Would God that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would God we had died in the wilderness? And wherefore hath the Lord brought us unto this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return unto Egypt?"
Con.
And
It says,
I'm gonna read the next verse real quick.
go ahead.
It says, "And they said one to another, Let us make a captain, and let us return into Egypt."
Con. So this right here starts a sequence of events that we see throughout the Bible, a sequence of patterns that we see throughout the Bible. It says, "Were it not better for us to return into Egypt?" And they said one to another, "Let us make a captain, and let us return into Egypt." Our people always wanted to go back to Egypt whenever we look through the scriptures. And we also know through further precepts, it says that we didn't murmur against Moses and Aaron. We actually were murmuring against God because God didn't want us to go back into Egypt. Just like in the curses of Deuteronomy 28:68, we're not going to return back to Egypt. It says that he would send us to Egypt with ships, but we know that that's not talking about a physical or a literal Egypt. Uh, uh, Going back to Exodus 20:2, that's actually going back into bondage. We would return into bondage, but we would not return back to that place of Egypt. And that's all our people wanted to go back to, was the land of Egypt. Let me see. I got a quick account, not a quick account, but I do have an account in Jeremiah. Man, I don't know if I want to skip throughout the whole thing or what I want to do, because it's kind of going into a little bit. But this is Jeremiah chapter 42 in verse 1. Jeremiah 42 in verse 1. It says, "Then all the captains of the forces and Johanan, the son of Kareah, and Jezniah, the son of Hoshaiah, and all the people from the least even unto the greatest came near, and said unto Jeremiah the prophet, Let we beseech thee, our supplication be accepted before thee, and pray for us unto the Lord thy God, even for all this remnant. For we are left but a few of many, as thine eyes do behold us, that the Lord thy God may show us the way wherein we may walk, and the thing that we may do." So You got these men and women coming up to Jeremiah, asking him, where should we go, so on and so forth, because all hell is breaking loose right now. And Jeremiah was already on the scene. He was already telling people to go into the land of Babylon. Go to Babylon, serve your captivity, serve your punishment. It's going to be easier if we do that than to rebel against God. But what do our people like to do? We like to rebel against the God. We're stiff-necked people. We'd rather hear things. We'd rather hear smooth things than the truth. I'm going to keep going. Verse 4, then Jeremiah the prophet said unto them, I have heard you. Behold, I will pray unto the Lord your God according to your words. And it shall come to pass that whatsoever thing the Lord shall answer you, I will declare it unto you. I will keep nothing back from you. Jump down to verse 7. It says, and it came to pass after 10 days that the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah. I'm gonna jump down to verse 9. I'm not trying to read the whole chapter. That's why I'm kind of jumping in and out. Verse 9, it says, and said unto them, thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, unto whom ye sent me to present your supplications before him, if ye will still abide in this land, then will I build you and not pull you down, and I will plant you and not pluck you up, for I repent me of the evil that I have done unto you. It says, be not afraid of the king of Babylon, of whom ye are afraid. Be not afraid of him, saith the Lord, for I am with you to save you and to deliver you from his hands. And I will show mercies unto you, that he may have mercy upon you and cause you to return to your own land. But if ye say, we will not dwell in this land, neither obey the voice of the Lord our God, saying, no, but we will go into the land of Egypt, where we shall see no war, nor hear the sound of the trumpet, nor have hunger of bread, and there will we dwell. And now therefore hear the word of the Lord, ye remnant of Judah. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, if ye will wholly set your faces to enter into Egypt and go sojourn there, then it shall come to pass that the sword which ye feared shall overtake you there in the land of Egypt, and the famine whereof you were afraid shall follow close after you there in Egypt, and there ye shall die. So our people feared the nation of Babylon more than they feared God. That was the kind of fear that was on our people back then. We feared the king Nebuchadnezzar. We did not want to go into Babylon. We did not want to go serve him. We didn't want to do any of those things, but rather we wanted to go back to Egypt. We trusted in Egypt so much. Can you grab me that Lamentations? We trusted in Egypt so much that it says we won't hear the sound of war. We won't hear the sound of the trumpet, nor will we have hunger there. And it says, and there we will dwell. That's how much trust we had in Egypt. That's how much faith we put into the land of Egypt instead of putting that faith into the Most High God. Can you grab me that?
God, this is Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 17. It says, as for us, our eyes yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. We had vain eyes. We always waited for Egypt. It's another account in Jeremiah that said Egypt had come out to fight against Babylon for us, and the Lord had turned them niggas right around. He said, don't put your trust in Egypt, for surely they're not going to fight for you. And I'm gonna grab that account here in a little while, but we right here though. Let me see. I'm gonna jump down. I want y'all to read this whole thing, but I'm not finna read the whole thing. I'm gonna go to chapter 43 in verse 2. Jeremiah 43 and 2. It says, then spake Azariah the son of Hoshaiah, and Johanan the son of Kareah, and all the proud men, saying unto Jeremiah, thou speakest falsely. The Lord our God hath not sent thee to say, go not into Egypt to sojourn there. So Jeremiah came back with the word of the Lord that they actually inquired of him from the beginning. They waited 10 days for Jeremiah to come back. And when Jeremiah came back with the message, don't go to Egypt, they said unto him, you prophesy falsely. You speak falsely. The Lord didn't say that. He didn't say not to go into the land of Egypt. This is how much that we trusted in Egypt. This is the amount. We put our trust in men instead of the Most High God. our whole heart was towards Egypt. It wasn't towards the true words of the Most High God. Their intent was to get the actual facts that God was coming with out of the mouth of Jeremiah. They wanted Jeremiah to say, "Go to Egypt." That's all they were waiting on Jeremiah to say. The other prophets are saying it, so Jeremiah, why aren't you saying it? Why didn't you come say go to Egypt for us? That's how much we trusted in the land of Egypt back then. But verse 3. But Baruch the son of Neriah setteth thee on against us for to deliver us into the hand of the Chaldeans, that they might put us to death and carry us away captives into Babylon. So Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces and all the people obeyed not the voice of the Lord to dwell in the land of Judah. But Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces took all the remnant of Judah that were returned from all nations, whither they had been driven to dwell in the land of Judah, even men and women and children and the king's daughters and every person that Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had left with Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, and Jeremiah the prophet, and Baruch the son of Neriah. So they came into the land of Egypt, for they obeyed not the voice of the Lord. Thus came they even to Taphanes. Then came the word of the Lord unto Jeremiah in Taphanes, saying, Take great stones in thine hand, and hide them in clay in the brickland, which is at the entry of Pharaoh's house in Taphanes, in the sight of the men of Judah. So you have the word of the Lord coming to Jeremiah in Egypt. The Lord said, grab stones and cover them in clay, and then set it at the entry. It says, and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Behold, I will send and take Nebuchadrezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will set his throne upon these stones that I have hid, and he shall spread his royal pavilion over them. And when he cometh, he shall smite the land of Egypt, and deliver such as are for death to death, and such as are for captivity to captivity, and such as are for the sword to the sword. So wherever Jeremiah had set those stones, that's exactly where Nebuchadnezzar would set his throne at. And that's exactly what came to pass. Because you remember in verse 42, he said, all those things that you fear will come to pass if you go into the land of Egypt. Because the Most High God don't play like he'll give you over to that. You know, you feel like you get safety with this other God, you feel like you get safety with this other nation, you can go to that other nation, you can go to that other God, and he's going to destroy you with that very same thing. And it's going to be the same spirit that's going around today. Everybody trusts in America. Nobody can defeat America. We won't hear the sound of war in America. We won't see famine in America. We won't see death in America. But the scripture says, get out of her. The scripture says, don't be amongst her. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. It's the same spirit that's going around now that we have with the land of the daughter of Babylon. Because the scriptures say that America is spiritually Sodom and spiritually Egypt. You got some?
God, I'm gonna grab that precept you quoted real quick, and then I kind of want to talk about Egypt and why people would want to be there. This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. It says, And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Now, this is actually what Aharon was going into. America is known as the great city. America is one of the greatest places. I say that like this, one of the greatest places on earth. So it's known as the great city in the Bible. It's not great for being great. It's great for its whoredoms, its wickedness, its sins, its abominations, and its profanity when it comes to the Most High God. And Egypt was the same thing. But can you give me Nahum 3 and 5?
God.
Right. And we gotta to give you a good picture of Egypt. We got to kind of paint a picture that you can understand, and you can kind of understand America. So I'll kind of like jump in and out of Egypt and America and other great kingdoms and civilizations, because Egypt was a great kingdom. But when you got that, bring that out.
Before I read this, they was also great for their so-called wisdom, their so-called magic, their so-called philosophies and doctrines, and so on and so forth. You know, everybody wanted to mess with Egypt because they had great philosophers, you know, magicians, soothsayers, so on and so forth. It's on you.
My father-in-law told me, he always says something like this, and it's a shame that I don't have it memorized how he say it. But he said, a 12-year-old in Egypt, um, back in ancient times, a 12-year-old Egyptian had the knowledge of a college student in America. Egypt was ahead of its time back then. Egypt was ahead of its time back then. Even to this day, you have things that's built in Egypt that we don't have the technology to build now. You know, let me turn my ringer off. So like, yeah, select. Like you got the pyramids, you got the Great Sphinx, you got all kind of stuff. You got all kind of different passages and tombs. You know, these Egyptians was ahead of their time. Um they had knowledge. Bring that out though. Nahum 3 and 5.
This is Nahum chapter 3, verse 5. It says, behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame.
Right. So this is a spiritual book. The Bible in totality is a spiritual book. And when the Lord describes kingdoms in his book, say the Lord is describing Egypt, the characteristics that applies to Egypt 10 times, I'm gonna say 9 times out of 10, they apply to another nation also. A lot of times you see that. Like if I say something about Aharon, that doesn't mean that's explicit and it only applies to him. That can apply to, someone else in the camp too. But I just bring it up to Aharon. So this Bible, you have to keep that in mind. So I say all of that to say, in the particular verse in Nahum 3 and 5, that's the book of Nahum. I believe it's talking about the Assyrians and Nineveh. I believe so. Can you fact check that, Officer Aharon?
Yeah,
I
it's going
believe
to
that it
Nineveh.
is. Okay, perfect. So, anyways, Assyria, woo, they came right. That was okay. So you got Egypt and you got Assyria. Egypt was the first, like really, really, really. They were known. Egypt has always been known. It's always been a major trademark country. It's just always been known. They always been reigning in and out of time. They always had, power and armies, riches and wealth. So they always kind of been here. But after them, you had the Assyrians. And I'm saying all of this to say this. So he said that he was going to lift up their skirt. And when you lift up someone's skirt, a regular skirt on someone's body, you can see their secrets. You can see they private parts, things that's not supposed to be exposed. So when the Bible says he's going to lift up the skirt of this kingdom, it's going to lift up, you're going to be able to see all of the dark secrets and hidden things about this country and about these kingdoms. So can you read that verse again?
This is Nahum chapter 3 in verse 5. I'm gonna start at 4. It says, because of the multitude of whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame.
That's a heavy, heavy, heavy series of words by the Lord. He said, because of your whoredoms, because of your trespasses, I'm going to lift up your skirt. I'm going to lift your skirt up upon your head, and I'm going to discover your secrets so that the other nations can see your nakedness. That sounds like a different language. You might be like, I don't have any idea what that's really talking about. I'm going to explain it in simple layman terms so I'm easy to be understood. Because of the sins of this people, because of all of the sins, the idolatry, you're serving other gods, because of the fornications, let's just say sins, I'm going to lift up all of your secrets. I'm going to lift up your skirt so all of these other people can see who you really are and what you really been doing. All of the things you did in the dark, I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to put a light on it so everyone can see it. Now everyone can see your secrets. The things that you did not want these other people to know, I'm going to let them know. So I see all of this to kind of train it back or to link it back up with America. And then I'm going to do the same thing with Egypt. So here in America, she's pretty. It's like you're looking at a beautiful woman. You're looking at this beautiful woman and you thinking, wow, I really want her. I want to be with her. You know, I really desire to have her. She is so beautiful. But America is known as a whore in the Bible, right? So the Lord lifts up this whore's skirt and you can see America for what she really is. Yes, she's beautiful. She's pleasant to look at. But if you get up close and you see this beautiful woman, she open up her mouth, her breath stink, and her teeth all jacked up. And you take a closer look at her, and it look like she ain't cleaned herself in a few weeks. And the Lord lift up her skirt, and you can see that not only she's not as beautiful as she looks from over there, but when you really, really get to be around her, you see that she is miserable. She's selfish. She's envious. She's covetous. She sleeps with an abundance of men. Let me say this simpler so everybody can understand. America is a dirty slut. That's basically what it is. You might think that she's pretty, but when you get close to her, you like, she is not pretty at all. Everyone in the world looks at America and they're like, man, I want to be in America. I want to be next to her. She's so pretty. I want to go to America and start a life there. You know, I can finally have a chance at life, and me and my family, you know, we can grow there. We can start over. America is a woman in the Bible, man. Let me get that real quick. And you got to understand certain things about America because we can't go back in time, literally. Can you give me that in Ecclesiastes 1? I think I want to start at chapter 1 because it's talking about how everything goes in a cycle. I want that scripture. I kind of want you to start at the top. But this is Revelations chapter 17 and verse 4. I'm gonna start at verse 4. Revelation 17 and verse 4. And the stuff that I'm kind of covering right now, it's kind of a little deeper. You kind of got to be a little seasoned. So I'm trying to do my best to explain it in simpler terms as we go. But like when you're describing these certain things, I'm just so used to describing it with these words. So it's hard for me to explain it in simpler terms. So I try my best to make it easier to be understood so everybody can understand what we bringing out. But this is Revelation 17 and 4. It says, and the woman, and this woman is talking about America. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color. Now, purple, back in the day, purple was a hard color to get your hands on. You had to be royalty. You had to have a lot of money to get this color. It says, and scarlet. Scarlet was an expensive thing too. Scarlet is red.
Precept.
Kind of bring that out.
Ezekiel chapter 26. Chapter 27 and verse 7. It says, fine linen with broidered work from Egypt was that which thou spreadest forth to be thy sail. Blue and purple from the isles of Elisha was that which covered thee. And this is going into this whole chapter is going into the merchants and what each nation basically had brought and offered unto Tyre and so on and so forth, because they were on the coast and they dealt with every nation, you know. But like the brother said, purple, scarlet, these things of color were expensive and hard to get, and Egypt dealt in those colors, you know. Egypt dealt in those fine linens and those works of tapestry and so on and so forth, because there was a lot of merchandise to be made in that. But it's on you, I.
Right. So now that we kind of here, I kind of want to talk about it. So you kind of bring up Tyre and Sidon, just how America is. We do a lot of trading with other people. We do trading with China, Taiwan. We do trading with everybody, and that kind of is why America is this whore. We do business with everybody, and it's a lot of sin that's closely related with buying and selling. That's in the scriptures. When it comes to buying and selling things, you see a lot of death. This person got cheated. It was really worth this much, but they only got this. And hey, the Lord even told us in the law when it comes to weights, when it comes to buying and selling, make sure you have a just scale, right? You don't want to be like, hey, I got 80 pounds, 80 shekels, but your scale is really, your scale is saying 80, but it's really 60. You got an unjust balance. You got an unjust scale, and you're lying. You're acting like you're giving them 80, but really it's only 60 because you got the scale and it's kind of off and you know it. But yeah, like in layman terms, when people sell drugs, they always weigh it by the pound, by the gram, and so forth and so on. But you people will actually use scales that are broken because they'd be like, hey, I want a pound, but you have a scale. The scales say a pound, but really it's less than, but you get the money like it's a pound. So like the Lord told us that's an abomination. That's actually a sin, right? It's actually a commandment to have a proper scale, a proper weight. But anyways,
Precept.
purple is really kind of bring it out.
Deuteronomy 25:13, it says, thou shalt not have in thy bag diverse weights, a great and a small. Thou shalt not have in thine house diverse measures, a great and a small. But thou shalt have a perfect and just weight, a perfect and just measure shalt thou have, that thy days may be lengthened in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Hey, the scriptures say what it say. Whether you at home, whether you on the go, if you got a scale, it got to be a proper scale. It has to be a proper scale. Because if not, you're stealing and you're cheating your brother out of what he's actually paying for. Maybe I'm going to give you a pound of wheat, but your scale janky and you give him less than that. The Lord going to require that out of your hand. I mean, America does a lot of stuff like that. America works people over like that. But anyways, we're talking about colors. The royal colors for our nation is red, purple, and blue. You can read that in Exodus, the latter chapters, when it goes into us building our altar and temple. But anyways, purple was a hard color to get your hands on because of how extensive, how much work it actually took to get the dye. And when I say dye, I mean DYE. So to get it, you actually had to get it from a snail, and it's called a murex snail. It's if you just look up murex snail, it kind of give you some information, but it's kind of in that area where Tyre and Sidon was. You kind of just got to be in the know. If you don't know, you don't know. But a murex snail is a medium to large size predatory tropic sea snail. Basically, like to make the garment, you had to kind of poke the snail and get the dye on the needle, and you got to dab it on there. There's different ways to do it, but it was a real tedious process, and it was hard to get your hands on. Everybody couldn't get purple dye. It wasn't you go to the Ross, you go to Walmart, and you got, now it's so easy to get your hands on dye and tie dye and colors, but back then it wasn't like that. It had to come from something for like real. But anyways, purple is royal. I believe it was I always hear this, but I never really looked it up. So I'm gonna paraphrase it, but don't hold me to it. Don't be like, "Hey, Mahar said," this is something I heard, right? And I'm gonna verify it when I find some free time. But I can't remember what king it was or what captivity it was, but if he was found with the color purple, and he wasn't of a royal bloodline, you could get put to death for just having anything purple. You walking around with a purple socks and you could die. That's how serious it was to get your hands on this color purple. That's why me and Aharon kind of beating it up and we kind of putting precepts on it, because it was that serious. I feel like it's a precept in Maccabees that kind of talk about it. I know you pulled the one in Ezekiel. It's all right because we got weightier matters to get to. But anyways, the scripture says, I'm at Revelation 17:4. Hey, everybody that came into the chat, shalom, shalom, Ashar Shabbat. Lord willing, y'all having a good Sabbath and y'all celebrating the righteousness. You with your family, or maybe you're just alone, but you kind of get in the spirit, keeping the Sabbath. All praises, man. It don't get no better than this. So right now we're going over the title of the lesson is a bruised reed, and we're showing you right now we're showing you the similarities between America and Egypt, and we're gonna get into the definition of reed. We're gonna get into some things, and this is kind of a mystery. A lot of people don't know about this, so you really got to be locked in. You got to be taking notes. You got to have your Bible open. You got to kind of have your head in the game, or this lesson ain't really gonna be profitable for you, you know. But anyways, Revelation 17:4. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hands full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. So this is America. She pretty, she decked out, she got the scarlet and the purple on, she got the gold jewels, the pearls, and she had a golden cup in her hand. And the Lord said that golden cup in her hand was full of abominations, filthiness, and fornication. So yes, she looked pretty, but the things that she's digesting, the things that's inside of her, it's a whole bunch of filthiness, a whole bunch of fornication, a whole bunch of sin. It says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. So I went here to show you that America is known as Babylon, or the mother of Babylon, or Babylon the Great. So America is definitely in the Bible, but you got to understand a few things. And before you can ever understand America being in the Bible and being able to put precepts on it, you got to understand Egypt, and you got to understand what it meant to the Most High God and what it meant to the Israelites. Because just how we were slaves in America and still is to this day, we were slaves in Egypt, and it's a lot of resemblance between the two, you know. We was building slaves in Egypt as slaves. We was building pyramids in Egypt because we were slaves. And you see on the same thing we slave for money, dollar bills. You look on the back of a dollar bill, you see a damn pyramid. Why though? Why is that? You see actually the pyramids that we built in Egypt in America on the back of the money you slave for. Why is that? No one asked that. That's something small, but that's significant. And nobody will pay attention to that. All right, so the Most High God is lifting up this skirt, and you can see America for what she really is. America ain't no good. It ain't no good to our people. It ain't even no good to their people. America is, they working towards a certain society. And you think they don't want us here, they plan on fighting against the Most High God and His Son, and against the Israelites. That's all prophesied. That's all prophesied. Revelation, Zechariah, Second Ezra, it's prophesied. It's prophesied. That's actually going to happen. But to get back to the point, you got to understand certain things about Egypt. And one of the things about Egypt, they were known for the same things America was known for: riches, wealth, army, power, resources, gold, pearls, all of the fine stones. You actually got Egypt is part of the Fertile Crescent. The land of Egypt has a lot of different kind of terrains. They got the Sahara Desert. I believe that's what it's called. But they got a lot of deserts. But they also have the Nile that goes through Egypt, and that next to that Nile, that's some of the most fertilest land. Where you can grow all kind of crops there. So Egypt, the land of Egypt, actually belonged to the Israelites, but they actually had it. And Egypt was known for all of those things. They were powerful. They were powerful. But if you look up the skirts of Egypt, they was filled with a lot of homosexuality. You can see it on their temples. Me and Aharon, we had a brief debate with our beloved brother Knowledge, and you can actually find it on our YouTube page. What is it called? What's the name of that video, King?
40. I don't know what the name of the video is. I forgot.
It's like Egyptian runs or wanders into a lion's den or something crazy like that. But anyways, like, the people who are into Egyptology, they looking at the beauty of it and all of this, but if you lift up the skirts, everything that they do goes against the Most High God. They was into witchcraft, soothsaying, fortune telling, homosexuality, bestiality, idolatry, of course. They was serving. It was like the worst of sins. That's what Egypt was really about. And that's why you don't hear about Egypt no more. The Lord made them the basis of nations. That's why now you hear about Egypt and that country, you don't
There's
really hear too
hungry
much
people
about
over
it.
there.
Right. You got the little commercials, which it ain't all like that. But really though, they're not a world power anymore. They used to be a world power. It was a household name. If something was cracking off, Egypt kind of in the midst of it. And you don't want to mess with Egypt because they got power. They got horses. They got riders. Let's get into that. I'm gonna go to Isaiah 31. People was afraid of
30
him.
and 1.
31 and 1 probably. We're talking about
Okay.
Egypt horses. Yeah. You want me to read it?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh,
I
wait,
thought you
hold
was
on. I'm gonna read 30. I'm gonna read Isaiah 30. I see what you want.
Yeah.
I see what you
Go
want
ahead.
now.
Go ahead.
I
Go
forgot
ahead.
this was here,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna start with this one real quick, just so we can
Okay.
get in order a little bit. Isaiah 30 and 1, it says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin unto sin." Now I'm gonna break it down, but let's get some context. Verse 2, "That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt." It says, "Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion." So dang, Salakia, a damn dog got out somehow. All right, but now I'm gonna go back up to verse 1 and talk about it and break it down. It says, "Woe to rebellious children that have taken counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they might add sin unto sin." We were going down to Egypt and covering with the covering of Egypt. We didn't want to be Israelites like that. We didn't want to walk in the spirit of the Most High God. We wanted to walk in the spirit of they damn gods. I would name some gods off, but I'm not finna get into that right now. We wanted to add sin unto sin. We wanted to be like them. We wanted to shave our beards. We wanted to be bald. We wanted to be damn sodomites as the Egyptians was. The scriptures even go over that. It's I believe Hebrews 11. I might as well just grab it. Since we're here. Hebrews 11 and 24, it says, "By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter." This is an account straight out of Egypt. It says, "Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season." So to live in Egypt was a pleasurable thing. It was a pleasurable thing, just like it is to live in America right now. You see the brother, he just pulled out a bag of goddamn popcorn. You can't do that everywhere. Everybody ain't got popcorn just on standby like that, but guess what? Egypt do. Egypt had it on them. Now the brother got caught in iniquity. Now he tried to put it up. No, I'm just playing. But kind of that's kind of how it is though. That's that we don't understand and we don't get how convenient things are. We don't get how convenient things are for us today. I just got done smacking some damn Reese's. That's damn chocolate and peanut butter put together. They don't got that everywhere. But guess what? They got that in Egypt. They got that in America, you know. So we were going down and trusting in the strength of Egypt and trusting in a mighty man. And the brother finna get the scripture right now that's going into they men and they chariots and they horses. You know, go ahead.
Um, I'm actually super glad you went to Isaiah 30. I forgot that was because we always read Isaiah 30 and 1, but when you put that thing in context, what it's really talking about is talking about Egypt. Man, whew, that's heavy, bro. That's heavy. He said I got caught in iniquity, y'all. My
Brother
mouth
got
watering.
caught in iniquity.
My mouth watering. If y'all don't know, those right there. Those are the ones. Anyways, Isaiah 31 and 1. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. He said destruction is for them that go down to Egypt for help. And stay on horses. What's funny?
Bro, it's just funny because the Most High God don't be playing no games, man. Like everybody, Christians think he played games, and it's like, bro, he's saying "whoa" to you people, man. Like for real. I hear "whoa" to them that go down to America for help. That's what I hear, bro. They the same thing, you know. America got a lot of similarities from Egypt. How we know this? Because Greek got things from Egypt. You got Romans that got things from Egypt. Now you got America that got things from Egypt. So it's just like that's just crazy. Go ahead though. Slovakia.
I'll pull out this precept again. That's Revelations chapter 11 and verse 8. It says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So this place right now, America, in the Bible, America is spiritually known as Egypt. It says Sodom and Egypt. And we know that a whole bunch of fornication was going on in Sodom. And we know a whole bunch of fornication is what's going on in America. If you don't know what fornication is it's bad. It's really going into sexual immorality, where you're doing things out of pleasure and it ain't right by God. You know, here in America, you can have sex with horses. You know, men can be with other men. You got a transgender. He turned from a male to a female, and you got two damn transgenders. It's a lot of fornication going on, huh?
Hey, in any other nation and in any other country, they don't get down with that. But guess what? America and Egypt is pleasurable. So everybody wants to go down there and be who they want to be and live in a carnal mind state, in a carnal matter. You know, I can't go to damn China and push sodomy. You'll get put to death. But guess what? You got a couple Chinese men, a couple Moabites that'll come to America and they start trying to get in a cup and they want to, they want to start seeing, they want to explore. I want to see what life really about. And they get down with that fornication. In America, it's okay. You can literally paint yourself as a damn dog, put on a leash and a collar, and somebody can be your owner. And niggas embrace that. They love the fact that they can do that here in America. And it's like, bro, that's just bugged out. But this is America,
Right.
you know? Go ahead.
Right. You know, I ain't got TikTok. Never had it. I don't plan on ever getting it. Somebody, somehow, some way, and I feel like it was a TikTok. It was a damn video, and you had Edomites painting their faces and they was running around some grassy terrain on all fours, barking, barking.
That sound about right.
It was literally European white women doing doggy tricks, and they standing up on 2 feet, and then the other Edomite throw them a damn tree. They was actually doing that. This is what people come to America to experience.
Yeah.
Folly,
So-called
madness,
freedom.
fornication. This is what they do with their freedom, right? But to get back to the point, oh man, that's crazy. We're gonna go back to Isaiah chapter 31. So we can show you, we're still trying to paint the picture of what Egypt looked like and how our people looked at, the place Egypt, right? So this is Isaiah 31:1. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. So they was actually putting their trust into these chariots and into these horsemen that the Egyptians had. And they forgot all about the Lord. They didn't want to depend on the Most High God. They want to depend on the damn horse. It says, yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. So the Lord gonna bring judgment on them people and the people that helped us. So you're saying, the Israelites gonna get their ass whipped, but the Egyptians gonna get their ass whipped too because they helped them. Now, verse 3, it says, now the Egyptians are men. That's the whole breakdown. The Lord
Right.
actually had to say this. He actually had to say this. The Egyptians are men. Because when the Israelites back then in the ancient times looked at Egyptians, we looked at them as gods. We looked at them as demigods. But the Lord said, the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fall together or fail together. So the Lord said, look, man, the Egyptians, they're just men. They're not God. Their horses, they're just flesh. They're not spirit. We actually was looking at their horses like they was more than what they was. Like they was Pegasus or something. That's on you,
They and that's kind of how they wanted to set themselves up. Here goes another similarity. The Egyptians wanted to set themselves up to be as God. Same thing as Esau in America. They set themselves to be up as God. That's why they got the image of Caesar Borgia as Jesus Christ, which is of course a so-called white man. So then they tell you this image of Jesus Christ is the Most High God with the Trinity doctrine. So now what? You got to look at him as God. But when we go back to the very beginning about the Egyptians, let's see how they acted. This is Genesis 43 and 32. It says, and they set on him, and they set on for him by himself, for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians, which did eat with him. It says, which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. It was an abomination to eat with the Hebrews. Same as in America, it was an abomination for a black man to drink out of a white fountain. We not making this stuff up. This is what the Bible say. This is what history looks like. It's just the cold facts to it. They didn't want to deal with us. They never have, never would. The spirit of Egypt is here to this very day. They never wanted to deal with us, but yet we still find ourselves wanting to run back to goddamn Egyptians. We wanted to keep dealing with them like it's something holy about them. Go ahead.
Hey, ask me my nationality.
What's your nationality?
I'm African American. Ask me again. Ask me again. Ask me again. Ask me again.
What's your nationality?
I'm African. I'm from the motherland.
Right.
This is one way that you can clearly see. You can clearly see that our people depend on Egypt still to this day. Just that alone. So many people, if you ask them who they are, I'm like, bro, I'm from Africa. I'm African American. You know? Why? Because we still depend on Egypt still to this day. That's literally been engraved in our head. That's crazy. Shalom to everybody that came in the chat, man. Shalom. Make sure y'all active in here. Y'all dropping precepts. Make sure y'all not doing nothing too for. Oh, okay. I seen something else. So like, yeah, I thought it was probably going on. I misspoke.
Huh.
But anyways, people still depend on Egypt still to this day. That's why we was compelled to do this lesson, a bruised reed. Now, where does that actually come from? I'm gonna go to second.
Hold on. Go back to Isaiah 31.
All right, Con.
I got some on there real quick.
Okay, Con, I got you. All right.
Where it says that they are men and not gods and they're horses.
Okay, verse 3. It says, now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together.
All right, now it's a prophecy on that. And I'm going to get that here in a second. But this is Proverbs 21:31. It says, the horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord. Our people didn't understand this, nor did we consider the sayings of Solomon during his time. Why? Because we still wanted to go back in the goddamn Egypt and still deal with them just because they had horses. Just like he said, their horses aren't chariots. They aren't the spirit. They're men. They're not God. So on and so forth. Here's an example. Jeremiah 37:5. Then Pharaoh's army was come forth out of Egypt. And when the Chaldeans code word for the Babylonians, and when the Chaldeans that besieged Jerusalem heard tidings of them, they departed from Jerusalem. Then came the word of the Lord unto the prophet Jeremiah, saying, thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, thus shall ye say to the king of Judah that sent you unto me to inquire of me, behold, Pharaoh's army, which is come forth to help you, shall return to Egypt, into their own land. And the Chaldeans shall come again and fight against this city and take it and burn it with fire. It says, thus saith the Lord, deceive not yourselves, saying the Chaldeans shall surely depart from us, for they shall surely not depart. We had got word that Pharaoh was going to come down and come help us, and we got comfortable. We got complacent. We got happy. The Lord like, hold on now. Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and turn that right back around. You know what I'm saying? They're going to make a U-turn. Pharaoh's not coming. He's not coming. You want to know why? Because I control Pharaoh. I control Egypt. That's what our people miss. That's what our people miss to understand. We serve the God of the universe, the master of the universe. He controls everything. He controls everything, even the hearts of the kings. And guess what? He controls the heart of the king of Pharaoh too, and made him turn his ass around and said, surely he shall not deliver you. You won't listen to me, so guess what? I'm not finna give you what you want. I'm gonna turn him back around, and the Chaldeans are gonna come burn this city up with fire. Go ahead,
And we know that the Lord controlled the heart of kings, and he even hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he softened Cyrus' heart. He hardened Nebuchadnezzar's heart. Next thing you know, he turned into a damn eagle. If you got ears to hear. But I got a precept or two. This is Psalms 118:8. It says, it is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes. All nations compass me about, but in the name of the Lord will I destroy them. King David, the books, the different Psalms, The book of Psalms in general is so much food in there. And he prophesied about a lot of things. He even prophesied when Christ was going to hit the scene. I mean, you got Psalms chapter 2. I mean, you got Psalms chapter 1, 110, I believe. Should you get Didn't King David prophesy about how Judas was going to betray Yahushua? King David prophesied. He prophesied. But he said it's better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. And it's better than to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes. He said, all nations compass me about. And that's what was going on. When in the time of Jeremiah was like, hey, the Babylonians finna put us in captivity, yada, yada, yada. And he was like, we're going to go get help from Egypt. He said, all nations compass me about, but in the name of the Lord will I destroy them. And they didn't even want to consider that. They was like, we're just going to go get help from the Egyptians like we usually do, and we'd be safe. We'd be safe there. We always throughout the scriptures. Can you get Lamentations 4:17? We always throughout the scriptures look to the Egyptians for help. They was like our blanket of security. That was like our backup plan. We go make war, shit don't look good, we run down to Egypt. Can you bring that out?
This is Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 17. It says, as for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help, and our watching we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
Man, we always looking for Egypt. That's a nation that can never save us. Man, is Egypt's spirit stronger than the Lord's spirit? Of course not. If the Lord wants us to go into captivity, that's where we're going to be. If the Lord want to destroy us, we're going to get destroyed. So we got to stop running into Egypt for protection. And that's the same thing we do here in America. We're trying to become Americans. We're trying to do everything that they're doing. But it's never going to help. Hey, being best friends with America is never going to help you. It's never going to help you because America is against God. America is definitely against God. Everything that God say not to do, America is the first one to do it. Every time. This is Isaiah chapter 13. This is why you gotta. Can you give me Revelations 4 or 18 and 4? This is why you gotta get out. This is why you gotta get out of America. This is why you gotta. When I say get out of America, I'm talking about up here. Because you might not have the means to get, take a boat or a plane and get out of America, but the ways of America, they're different gods, because they don't serve the God of the Bible. They serve, we call him Caesar, because that's his name. The image that they depict of Jesus Christ, his name is Caesar Borgia. That was a man, a regular European, and they painted a picture of him. And that's who everybody worshiped, a soft, stringy-haired white boy. But the God of the Bible, the Messiah of the Bible, black men, austere men, men of war, men who had wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on the right-hand side. Bring that out real quick.
And this is Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not her plagues.
So come out of America, so you don't be a partaker of her sins, and so you don't get plagued. Because you remember what happened to the last America. When I say the last America, I'm referencing Egypt. Because Egypt and America are synonymous with each other. What happened to Egypt? It got destroyed by plagues. It got destroyed. They was going through it. You got locusts eating up all of the food. People dying of famine. The Lord smiting all the firstborn. You got something out of the sky that looked like fire, and it got ice on it. You got frogs coming out of the water. You got blood. You got water, and it's really blood. You got all kind of plagues happening in that place. The Lord is going to bring another set of plagues but it's going to be for America. And if you rocking with America and you're a diehard American, you're going to receive the plague. You're going to be a part of it. Remember, even while we was in Egypt and all of the plagues would happen, the Israelites were safe. He sheltered us from the plagues. But if you want to be a damn American so bad, he's going to get a place to you too. So you got to make sure your mind right. Let's keep reading. Is that it on it?
Verse, I believe it says, verse 5, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities.
Hey, the Most High God not going to forget all of that. And if you being the best friend of America, and you at prideful American, home of the free, land of the brave American, and you just damn proud to be in America, you know all the damn jingles and in God you trust, but you don't trust God, and you're gonna die. You're gonna die here in America. You're gonna die with America, because America gonna make war against the Most High God. Anyways, let me grab this other precept. Let me grab this one. You grab yours. This is Isaiah 13 and 15. It says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So if you found being best friends and being joined unto America, the Bible says you're going to get thrust through and you're going to fall by the sword. Right? That's on you, King.
All right, well, now I got two. First one is 1 John 2 and 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. And that was us going into or that was us earlier talking about how we loving the pleasures that come with Egypt, us loving the pleasures that come with America. You know, we'd rather deal with America and we'd rather deal with Egypt than we would deal with the Most High God. You know, that's why people love Christianity so much. Christianity is the religion of Babylon. First off, it's confusing as hell. That's literally what Babylon means. Babel, confusion. Our people love that because we can do whatever we want in that religion. There is no rules. There are no laws, so on and so forth. Mahar, what did you just read?
I read Isaiah 13 and 15.
Read it one more time. Baba Kasha.
I got you. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 15. It says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
Kind. Let's remember that. Let's keep that in the back of our minds. This is Ezekiel 29 and 1. In the 10th year, in the 10th month of the 12th day of the month, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, I don't know if I spoke the book, chapter, and verse. Ezekiel 29. I started at 1. Now I'm at 2. It says, Son of man, set thy face against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and prophesy against him, and against all Egypt. Speak and say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, the great dragon that lieth in the midst of his rivers, which hath said, my river is mine own, and I have made it for myself. It says, behold, no, it says, but I will put hooks in thy jaws, and I will cause the fish of thy rivers to stick unto thy scales. And I will bring thee up out of the midst of the rivers of thy rivers, and all the fish of thy rivers shall stick unto thy scales. What is this going into? This is the Most High God saying he's going to take Egypt, and everyone that's joined unto Egypt, he's going to pull them out of the rivers. He's going to pull them up. Every single one. Everybody that want to deal with Egypt, everybody that like Egypt, that want to be in Egypt, or everybody that wants to be in America, everybody that's joined unto America, everybody that didn't escape out of America when the warning was put forth. Verse 5, I will leave thee thrown into the wilderness, thee and all the fish of thy rivers. Thou shalt fall upon the open fields. Thou shalt not be brought together nor gathered. I have given thee for meat to the beast of the field and to the fowls of heaven. And all the inhabitants of Egypt shall know that I am the Lord, because they have been a staff of reed to the house of Israel. Now, the Most High God is going to give this place, and he, like he's done in the previous time, gave Egypt over to the beast of the field. What does that mean? That means utter destruction. He's going to leave utter destruction. Has anybody ever seen vultures? That's the beast of the field. That's what it's kind of going into. Vultures, they come and pick up, and they pick at dead carcasses. You know, they kind of eat the meat. They fly in the sky in a circle, and that's just them surveying the area, and they swap down and they come get the food. It's gonna be vultures picking on the bones and bodies of everybody that's in America. In that day before the damn nukes hit. But just the same that it was going on in Egypt. Now, verse 6, it says, "And all the inhabitants of Egypt shall know that I am the Lord, because they have been a staff of reed to the house of Israel." Now, Mahar, I think you want to get that precept in Kings going to the Syrians.
Um, yeah. I'm gonna go to 2 Kings, chapter 20. 2 Kings, chapter 18. So if you don't know, I gotta kind of catch y'all up to where I'm at and where we at in 2 Kings. So obviously the book of Kings is about the kings over our nation primarily, but you have other nation kings in here because we was led away captive, or we was fighting against them, or we was forced to pay taxes and tribute underneath them. You got a whole bunch of different stuff going on, a lot of history. So we in chapter 18. So me jump back
Hey,
a chapter.
yo, get you think you can get Jeremiah Dreams out of here, bro?
I mean, I heard he probably just gonna come in here with another YouTube, but yeah, I can do that. Consider it done. All right, cop. 'Cause he is doing too much. Hey, and Xavier, you're doing a beautiful job contending for the faith. He don't know what's going on. Anyways, hey, Xavier said, "You don't know anything."
Right.
Guys, he said, "You don't know
Xavier's
anything."
not lying though. I'm not gonna lie.
He's not. That's the truth. He said, "You don't know anything," and obviously refused to take. And he said, "Can you not come in here disturbing with nonsense?" God,
Seriously.
he don't know what's going on. He don't know that our Issacharite brothers was colonized. That's why That's why they know Spanish. You know, he don't get that. That's too high. That's too deep. The water though, man. This is the kind of spirit brothers need to be in though. Like, nah, bro, you need to get out of here with that nonsense. You know,
Right.
but so in 2 Kings chapter 17, you have the northern kingdom being led away captive by Shalmaneser. After Shalmaneser died, the next king up was Sennacherib, and he was actually trying to lead the rest of our people into captivity also, because Shalmaneser was only able to get the northern kingdom. So the next Assyrian king is Sennacherib, and he was trying to lead the rest of our kingdom into Assyria too, but the Lord didn't allow that to happen. Right. So now here we are. Here we are in the 18th chapter. Now I don't want to read the whole chapter, but I want to get the points. So I'm gonna kind of tell you what's going on in this chapter. I kind of already got you up to speed. You got Sennacherib trying to lead us into captivity. Mind you, the Assyrian empire is growing massively at a large rate. So they conquering people. So they're trying to knock out they're trying to get the land of Israel. So anyways, Sennacherib, he sent 3 messengers. He had 3 messengers. The name of their messengers is Rebshekah. Hold on. Where is it? It's somewhere in here. Okay, if you go to 2 Kings chapter 18, verse 17, it says the king of Assyria, and the king of Assyria at this time is Sennacherib. They say that in the scripture. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Let me know when you can hear me.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
All right. Hey, chat, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Chat. Let me know if y'all can hear me.
I can hear you.
Drop some ones in the chat if y'all can hear me. Why Aharon not responding? You can hear me? Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so the Assyrian king is Sennacherib, and he sent his 3 messages. You got verse 17 and tell you the 3 messages by name. You got Chardon, you got Rabsaris, and Rabshakeh, and they came to Lachish because that's where our king was. You got King Hezekiah. I'm gonna just read verse 17. It says, "And the king of Assyria sent Tartan, Rabsaris, and Rabshakeh from Lachish to King Hezekiah with a great host against Jerusalem." So not only did he send his 3 messengers, he kind of sent the army. It says, with the great host against Jerusalem, and they went up to Jerusalem. And when they were come up, they came and stood by the conduit of the upper pool, which is in the highway of the fuller's field. And when they had called to the king, there came out to them Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, which was over the household of Shibna, the scribe. It says Shibna, the scribe, and the son of Asaph, the reporter. So you got his 3, and then you got our 3. And we kind of talking it out. It says, and Rabshakeh said unto them, speak unto Hezekiah, thus said the great king, the king of Assyria. What confidence is this wherein thou trustest? So you got the king of Assyria's men, and they like, well, tell King Hezekiah I said this, since he don't want to come outside. Oh, let me see. I think Aharon in the back. Salakia.
Can you hear me?
Salak. Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, go ahead.
All right, cool. So the Bible really a movie, but if you're not tapped in, you don't really know how our people is, you don't really know where you're at in the Bible, you're gonna just read it and you're gonna skip over some crazy stuff. But just imagine this. You in Jerusalem and you hear a trumpet blow and you got an Assyrian army posted up outside the walls. And you're like, oh shit. Next thing you know, and look in the back of your head, you're like, damn, these niggas just took the northern kingdom away. Now they finna take us, Captain. Hezekiah, he ain't go outside. He ain't go talk to him. Did you know if Hezekiah goes outside, they probably just gonna kill him on the spot. So he sent his 3 men. He sent Eliakim, Shibna the scribe, and you got Joah, and he's a recorder. He records everything that's happening, So this is all going on. They pop outside. You can just imagine they probably pop outside the gates and they like, what you want, what you doing here? And they like tell Hezekiah, we said this, why are you so confident that we not gonna come in here and shut this whole place down? Like, where is your confidence, man? What makes you think that we won't come in here tonight and destroy Lachish, Jerusalem, Judah, everything? Where is your confidence coming from? Right? Do you not know that we just led the northern kingdom into captivity? Do you not know we led them? Everybody that was in Samaria, everybody that was Naphtali, everybody is in captivity in Nineveh right now. And you're not really paying your dues. You're not paying. Why are you not afraid? So it's a movie. They mobbed up on Jerusalem. Verse 20, it says, thou sayest, but they are but vain words. So Hezekiah was kind of saying, like, I'm confident in the Lord. Or I'm confident. He said, thou sayest, but they are vain words. So the messenger's kind of like, man, you just talking. You ain't really about no action. You just talking. I hear a lot of barking, but no biting. Because I know that you ain't got no army. I know you can't really make war right now. I know. It says, I have counsel and strength for war. Now on whom dost thou trust that thou rebellest against me? So the Assyrian kingdom, the Assyrian men, they like, man, I know you're not built for war right now. But me, you see, my man, you see, I got it with me. So what did you trust in then? Why are you rebelling against me? Verse 21 says, now behold, thou trustest upon the staff of this bruised reed. That hence the title of this lesson. It's a bruised reed. Watch what happened. Now behold, thou trustest upon the staff of this bruised reed, even upon Egypt, which if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, unto all that trust on him. So he like, where is your confidence coming from? You know, why are you putting all this, where is this trust coming from? Are you trusting in God? Is it Egypt? You know, Egypt is a bruised reed. They can't save you. That's what he's saying. Egypt can't save you, nigga. That's what Sennacherib and his men was saying. Egypt can't save you. Egypt can't save you. You can't run to Egypt this time. They a bruised reed. This is um this is how you talk shit back in the day. They a bruised reed. And if you lean on it, this
That nigga
this
said they a bruised reed.
that's how you talk shit. I caught thee lacking.
Right. Caught the
You can't
lollygagging.
right. Your cavalry is not ready for battle. I see
Right.
that you have not the wind on your side. Right? He
Your
said,
armor is unfit.
right. Your armor is too heavy for thee. Right.
Right.
He said, he said, he said, Egypt is a bruised reed. That's disrespectful. A reed goes into like a staff or something that you would use for support, right? I want to actually, I want to type it in on Google, just a Google search. Um, I remember actually looking this up. It's been a minute. Reed, it says a tall, slender, leaved plant of the grass family which grows in water or in marshy ground. It says a piece of thin cane or metal, sometimes doubled, that vibrates and current of air to produce the sound of various musical instruments, yada yada yada. But what is really going into? Let me see.
I got some.
Okay. I'm kind of messing with Google. They ain't really doing what they need to be doing today. It's on you.
Because it tells us right here back in Ezekiel 29:6, and all the inhabitants of Egypt shall know that I am the Lord, because they have been a staff of reed to the house of Israel. So it's going into a staff, like you said. But just like that had said, they have been a bruised reed, and then they'll break it and whatnot, and it hurt you. Verse 7: when they took hold of thee by the hand, thou didst break, and ran all their shoulder. And when they leaned upon thee, thou breakest, and madest all their loins to be at a stand. So Egypt, every time that we would lean on them, every time that we would count on them for our help, it would always go bad for us. You know what that sound like? That sound a lot like America. Every time we lean on America and think they for us, think they for our people, they break, they snap. It's unprofitable. They get real bendy. The staff get real bendy, and it start. Well, I know you America. I think you can hold up. We start leaning a little more, and it's snapping, and we hurt ourselves. That's how Egypt been. Go ahead.
That's the truth. Anytime we start depending on America, we hurt ourselves. They do more bad than good. And that's exactly the same case with Egypt. Like, we getting into it with Sennacherib, and we low-key in the back of our mind for a backup plan. We kind of like, man, we can always shoot to Egypt. They got plan Bs,
Right.
and plan Cs. Nah, that's not how it's supposed to be. But this is really an important concept to know. This is an important concept to know, because as soon as we got out of Egypt, our people was like, man, we finna die out here in the wilderness. It would have been better if you would have left us in Egypt. Can we just go back? That's the spirit our people be moving in. When the look, when we got out of Egypt, we wanted to go back to Egypt. When we got to the homeland and the Assyrians came, we kind of wanted to go to Egypt for help. After the Assyrians, you got the Babylonians. When the Babylonians came, we was trying to go back to Egypt. We always trying to go back to Egypt, even to this very day. Hey, in 70 AD, our temple got ramshacked. Where did we run to? We ran to Egypt. You know what happened? They sold us. They sold us to other Edomites. They sold us. We ran to Egypt for help. Next thing you know, they sold us as slaves. That's in the Bible. This is why we titled it a bruised reed. If you lean too much on them, it's gonna break and you're gonna hurt yourself. And then you're gonna be looking stupid.
Got a precept.
Kind of bring it up.
I'm back in Isaiah 30. Isaiah 30 and verse 7. It says, "For the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still." That's the
Where is you
Egyptian
at?
strength.
That's heavy. Where are you at?
I'm at Isaiah 30 and 7. He said,
Yeah,
"Where is
that's
you at?"
heavy.
He says their strength is to sit still. Xavier McLeod, you said you read in Isaiah 19 and it says that Egypt will be blessed. When you read in Isaiah 19, this is the Assyrian, the Egyptian, and Israel, all of them. That's just all going into Israel. That's all in code. I think Deacon from Sakari did a video on it. You might want to look up what is it? Sakari daggers. What is it called? Something where they do like 2-3 minute videos over it. Just look up Sakari Isaiah 19. They should give you a excellent breakdown on that. But back to this. Isaiah 30 and 7, it says, "For the Egyptians shall help in vain and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still." That's their strength. And now it's another classic precept in here. I'm going to jump down to verse 10. I'm going to jump down to verse 9. It says that this is a rebellious people. This is going on our people. That this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of the Lord, would say to the seers, "See not," and to the prophets, "Prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit." Why do we see this in the context concerning Egypt? Because we don't want to hear, "Don't go to Egypt." Just like Jeremiah said, the Lord did not say, "Don't go into Egypt, for surely we shall go into Egypt." I know my God, and he want me to go into Egypt. That's how Christians act today. I know my God, and my God wouldn't want me not to go down to Egypt. My God wouldn't want me not to eat pork. You know, that's the spirit that everybody be moving in. It says, verse 11, "Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon." We trust in oppression and perverseness. Anytime a nation oppresses us, we want to be there and we want to deal with it. I remember I was watching Dave Chappelle. Everybody should know about Dave Chappelle, and he was speaking about a pimp and his whore. And here's how a lot of men, get their whores. The pimp, he'll break the whore down, beat her up, treat her bad, so on and so forth, and she'll be distraught. But the pimp will take care of her and heal her back up, and she'll forget that he's the one who caused her pain, and only remember the time of healing. So she loves him for that. She loves the man because he healed her, but forgot he's the one that caused that pain. So now she's stuck with him. Now she doesn't want to leave him. This is the same mentality our people have with Egypt and America. We go through so much pain in America, but yet America heal us slightly, and we forget about all that pain. We trust in oppression and perverseness. Let me see. Nah, I think I'm done with Isaiah 30. You got something?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay. Because my phone is just a black screen. So, all right. Anyways, I'm gonna go to Ezekiel 29, and I kind of want to jump to like verse 15 and kind of read down. That sound cool?
Go ahead.
All right, God. Ezekiel 29 and 15. And this chapter is going into Egypt. It says, "It shall be the basis of kingdoms, neither shall it exalt itself any more above the nations, for I will diminish them. They shall no more rule over the nations." And obviously, that's what happened with Egypt. They a base kingdom. They're a base kingdom. I mean, people still want to tour there in Egypt, you know, certain places because they have certain wonders like the pyramids and the Sphinx, you know. But as far as them being a global power, that's not a real thing. They're a base kingdom. They're a base kingdom. It says, and it shall no more, and it shall be no more the confidence of the house of Israel. And this is literally prophecy. No one even talks about how Egypt was going to be pulled down and it wasn't going to be prosperous. No one even talks about that. That's prophecy, though. It says, and it shall no more be the confidence of the house of Israel, which bringeth their iniquity to remembrance, when they shall look after them, but they shall know that I am the Lord God. If you keep reading, it talks about how Nebuchadnezzar was brought, or Nebuchadnezzar went to Egypt, I believe. Verse 19, since I said it, I'm going to just read it. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will give the land of Egypt unto Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, and he shall take her multitude and take her spoil and take her prey, and it shall be the wages for his army. So that actually happened too. But I really wanted to go here and really just show you in the scriptures where Africa or Egypt will be pulled down and it's a base kingdom now. No one is. You got World War III on the brew and it's bringing. Africa ain't all in the cut. No, you got other world powers. You got America. You got China. You got Russia. You got the Africa just over here. They don't stand a chance no more. They was brought down to naught. They used to be the top head honchos of the world. They was always up there, but they was brought down. They was brought down. And then it says, and it shall no more be the confidence of the house of Israel. And yeah, we still depend on them to an extent, but it's not really our confidence as much as it used to be. If you could just imagine and align your mind with the scriptures and how much we really depended on them, it's not nearly as much as it is now. You know, now we really switch places with America. But I know you had a point.
I was gonna touch on we like that prophecy you just read in Ezekiel. We had already went over that in Jeremiah, where you said Nebuchadnezzar was going to come and take over Egypt. We read that, you know, he had used Jeremiah to do that, set the stones here, and this is where Nebuchadnezzar is going to set his throne. But it's back on you. I got something after you get that Egypt being brought low.
God, I'll read it one more time. It says, and it shall be the basis of kingdoms, neither shall it exalt itself any more above the nations, for I will diminish them, that they shall no more rule over the nations.
This is Isaiah 14:12. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And when you're going into Lucifer, this is going into kind of like a light bearer. The nation that right now in this context, I believe is dealing with Babylon. I could be wrong, but this is what I from what I know, I don't know. I think it's dealing with Babylon. But on the spiritual side of it, this is dealing with the top nation in the world. In any time, any nation that has the wisdom, that has the foresight, that's you know, back in Jeremiah's time, the light bearer was Babylon. Back in Moses' time, the light bearer, Egypt. In our time, the light bearer, America, you know? It says, which didst weaken the nations. It says, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, I will also sit upon the mount of God, the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. It says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High God. Verse 15 is the point where I want to start on. It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that openeth not the house of his prisoners? And that's how they looked at Egypt. That's how everybody looks at Egypt now. Damn, this was Egypt. This was that mighty, great, vast nation. it's brought to nothing now. You can go to Egypt and you can see these pyramids and stuff. And the people of Egypt, the original men of Egypt, aren't even there today. It's some damn Arabs. The original men of Egypt ain't there no more. Mizraim ain't there no more. These niggas got scattered. They've been brought to naught. They are the basis of nations now. But it's on you.
And now you got a whole bunch of Edomites there.
Right. Tourist.
Now you got Edomites. And it's actually Edomites who that go back to the Greeks, man. They actually renamed that place Alexandria.
Right.
They actually named that place. Ptolemy was all in there. Ptolemy was all in there. You had a whole bunch of Greeks in there. You know, these things have, it's crazy how interesting time is. That's one of the most interesting things. How everything play out.
Salakia, this is going back to what Xavier asked. Real quick, Salakia. This is Isaiah 19:19. In that day, it says, in that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof, in the border thereof to the Lord. When we look into the law, the only place an altar or a temple can be is in the land of Israel. You know, we wouldn't have no altar, nothing set up in Egypt. That's why we don't make sacrifices over here, because we can't. Literally, according to the law, we can't. So it would have to be in Israel. This is just a one precept to show you that it's definitely not talking about Egypt. Go ahead though, Salakia.
Right. And it's definitely the Lord definitely got to set His name there for it to be a temple there. You can't just set up temples. And last time a nigga just set up a temple where he wanted, he had Issacharites in there being Levites.
He said it last time. Nigga just said, you wildin', Salakia. Go ahead.
Bro, though. That's for real though. Jeroboam had Issacharites and pretend to be Levites. But man, y'all know usually when we do our lessons, it's more what's the word I'm looking for, King?
I don't know.
I can't pinpoint the word I be looking for. But it was a good lesson. Lord willing, somebody was edified. And now when you read in the Bible, even if you don't remember every precept we pulled, you can kind of see this more through the scriptures when you read and how we depend on these nations, especially Egypt. We depend on them. They was like our backbone. They was like our support line, our lifeline, our line of defense. That's how much we depended on them. But I don't really got no more precepts I want to pull out. You got anything, King?
No, I'm grabbing Galatians and Corinthians.
All right, I'm gonna grab Sarai. I'm right here.
Fine. This is Galatians, if I can find it. Bear with me. I don't just be turning to Galatians like that. Galatians.
Hold on. Bro, Mill Hill, what's good, baby? What's good?
Oh, I thought he was gonna cut me.
No, I ain't gonna cut you out.
I thought you was gonna dagger me in front of the congregation. I was gonna be like, dang, this is crazy. All right. This is Galatians chapter 6 and verse 9. It says, and let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we not faint. Be not weary in well doing, you reap what you sow. 1 Corinthians 15:38. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. It's on you,
Con. We always in our lessons with these series of precepts. Sirach chapter 43 and 30 says, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as ye can, for even yet will he far exceed. And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, because you can never go far enough. And with that, we're going to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah. Like General Hezekiah always say, never forget, death to America. Shalom.
Shalom.